Sync in 3, 2, 1. Hello everybody, welcome to the manliest podcast in the known universe, where we discuss men, their perfect bodies and beautiful smiles. No homo. As always, I am your host Chmis, and I am joined by my lovely co-host, my dear Jared.
Hello.
And we are straight as a pretzel. The gay agenda for this week is coming out to others. You can find that and more with timestamps to individual topics and links where applicable in the episode description. How are you, Jared?
I am good. Very good. Very tired. Had another week of many house things, yard work, and projects. Pest control this week. Yay. But that's just stuff you have to deal with when you move into a house that's been sitting for like a year. So.
That's nice.
But I'm doing well. I'm excited to be here. Happy to be here to talk about some gay stuff. You know, cute boys and girls and all of that jazz. How are you?
A couple hours ago I finished listening to VGL and I am really happy to hear that you are enjoying this.
Indeed. It's fun. It's a blast. I need to talk to you later about some scheduling stuff, but that's for later.
Sure.
Not for now.
Okay. So, I'm fine. I'm even better than fine because this week I have finished my job.
Yay.
Which means that in June I only have couple projects to close off, couple exams, and pretty much nothing, just me being lazy, which I could really use. And then for the summer I will probably go back there, but this time all I will have to do is work there without any university stuff, and I have pretty much already agreed that I will be doing 3/4 of normal time, so only 4 days a week. 2-day weekends are just inhumane.
Yeah, I regularly take 3-day weekends now. It's the best.
I was used to 3 or even 4-day weekends pretty much my whole university, because always we were able to set it up so that we have at least 1 day free. And this semester, suddenly, I have job to do. So it went from I only have classes from Wednesday to Friday to I only have classes from Wednesday to Friday, but on Mondays and Tuesdays I'm working, and on the other days, if I have 2 hours to spare or something between classes, I still go to work, which was absolutely exhausting. So I'm really happy that's done.
Yeah, I wish I would have had 3-day weekends during college and university. I was lucky to get 1-day weekends because I was working my way through school. So I would go to class 3 or 4 or 5 days a week, depending on the semester, and also work 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 days a week. But the only time I could guarantee off was Sunday because I just told my boss at my job that I needed to go to church, which I never went to church. But because it's the deep south, like everyone's like, oh yes, absolutely, yes, you go to church. Don't worry about working on Sunday. I always had Sunday off, but I did not always have Saturdays off. So yeah, you're lucky.
Come to Europe, we have free education.
You have free education and free healthcare. You pay higher taxes, but I would gladly pay higher taxes for debt forgiveness and free healthcare. Absolutely. I would pay many more hundreds of dollars in taxes because that's about what I have to pay right now to have the right to purchase healthcare plus all of my student loans. America sucks, y'all. Anybody that ever tells you that America's the best just doesn't know what they're talking about. I don't think America gets number one in any category except for amount of prisoners incarcerated per capita and gun violence and student debt, I think. We're pretty near the top of student debt. So yeah.
Also, you're one of the only 2 countries in the world that doesn't have paid maternity leave because capitalism.
Yeah, paid maternity leave is not guaranteed by our government. Most companies offer paid maternity leave, but you never know what you're going to get. And anyone laughs at you if you want to take some time off for paternity leave. I like had to pull out the laws and threaten to sue my boss for not giving me some time off when my kid was born.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it was not. That was a shitty job. I'm glad I don't work there anymore. So, yeah, we were totally not going to digress, and here we are digressing.
Okay, let me just get it off my chest. I'm really happy that my only current problem is that I got a sandwich toaster from my sister, which, as you may know, requires 4 slices of bread. But every single store around here sells packages of 22 slices, which leaves 2 to spare, which really pisses me off. So that is my problem. Free healthcare, free education, basic human rights versus toast slices divisible by 4. I don't know. Have your pick.
Yeah, I'd much rather have your problem than my problems. I mean, personally, I've finally come to a point in my life where most of those things are not a problem because I make enough money, but it's still stupid that I had to fight to get this far, and I feel so bad for people who had disadvantages that I don't have, or, less advantages than I had, I guess. I mean, I'm a middle-aged white guy in one of the most, racist parts of the world. That's not necessarily true, but one of the most racist parts of the first world, I guess. So I got all the advantages from being white and male, and even though my parents, particularly my dad, is just the worst, at least I didn't grow up in the projects or the slums or whatever. So I can't wait till I can actually start giving back to people. I'm still, even though I'm more comfortable than I was, I'm still pretty much living okay, on the edge, gotta get those student loans paid off and all the other stuff. But once that huge chunk of my income isn't dedicated to that sort of stuff, I cannot wait to start just giving money to people. It's oh, hey kid, you struggling to get yourself through college and you got a shitty family? Absolutely, I know what that's like. Here, let me just shower you with all the money that I can. I just can't wait to do that. Also, I'm going to spend more time protesting and yelling at my government than I do now.
Even more? I didn't know it was physically possible.
Yeah. I mean, I do real stuff that hopefully makes even a tiny percent of I call my representatives and send them letters and emails, and I occasionally can go by a protest or a rally or a town hall, but not very frequently because I still live pretty out in the middle of nowhere. But I do what I can. But when I have more free time, because I have more money and don't have to worry so much about stuff and can take trips and things like that, absolutely, I'm going to march on Washington. If there's a Washington left in 5 or 10 years.
I think polar bears may join you.
Excellent.
Moving swiftly on.
Yes.
To our topic of the week. Coming out, so I'm always making you start, so let's uphold the tradition.
Okay, sure. I will start. Coming out to other people. It was... I'm trying to remember the first time I did it, because it's been a decade ago at this point, but there was a boy that was about my age in high school. I was a junior or senior, and he thought that I was really cute, and he was into chubby dudes, and I had a really good beard at that time. My first really good beard happened when I was a sophomore or a junior in high school. That's 10th or 11th grade. I don't know. Okay, I was 16 or 17. Does that work? Okay, I was 16 or 17. That was when I got my first really good beard. And that made him notice me.
I hate you.
I've had facial hair since I was about 12, but it didn't get really thick until I was in high school. And like I mentioned last week, at this point in time, I was sort of figuring myself out, and I'd had that conversation with my best friend who was gay, and he told me that I was gay, and yada yada, all that jazz from the last couple of episodes. And he started texting me, and we were texting back and forth, and I was telling him I don't know what I am or where I am right now, and he wanted to actually meet me and talk to me about it. We could see each other at school, but being in the middle of backwoods, middle of nowhere Tennessee, especially a few years ago, before there started to be more people who just were like, you know what, fuck it, I like boys or girls or both or whatever, and started to become a little more normalized. Like back then, if anyone found out, they would have, I mean, probably beat him, like actually physically assaulted him because he was gay. And so through this interaction with him that I had, and we went on a date or two, and that was the first time I ever kissed a boy, and that was just sort of my moment of coming out to someone like, hey, you know what, I like you and you're a boy. And then later that spread into the other relationships that I have. So kind of the traditional definition of coming out, like telling someone that's the way you are. I kept it pretty close to myself in high school because I just wanted to get out of there and get away from those people and kind of start a new life. But I mean, the second that I walked into my college, which is your equivalent of what you guys call university, I just started telling everybody, like my roommate, my suite mates. Like a suite is when, I don't know if you know this, but where there's two rooms that are connected through like a bathroom or are just connected in general.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But like I told my roommate, my suite mates, I was like, there might be boys here, there might be girls here. You never know what I'm going to be into. If that bothers you guys, I can totally respect that and do my best to let you know if I'm coming up with someone. But I mean, like, this is me, and I'm not going to be someone else just because I'm here with you guys. And they were totally cool with that. Like, they absolutely respected, like, hey, you know what? Like, they all three of them were straight, but they were like, you know what? You know, you're going to be upfront and honest with us about that. We could totally respect that. Just kind of keep them in your bed and on your side of the room. And that was for boys and girls too. Like, they just didn't want sexual fluids all over the place. That was kind of my experience. Once I got out of high school, you know, a place that was very hostile and where I was kind of expected to be one thing. And you know, high school is incredibly fickle. People will come after you for the stupidest shit. And sexuality is one of those things where people will just rip you apart because they're still, for the most part, just being or doing what their parents told them to do. And where I grew up and for the most part still live, it's like, oh yeah, gay people are sinners and they're going to hell and they'll infect you or pass it on to you or you'll catch it or like whatever, just all sorts of really harsh vitriolic language. And so in high school I was like, I don't want this. I don't want to like have to deal with it. I'm just going to pretend for the most part. And then once I got to college, it was like everybody's like, hey, here's who I am. Oh, you don't care? You don't want to get to know me? Too bad. Here's who I am. Deal with it. And I went through this little phase where I was probably a little too forceful with it, but I just was like, it was one of the things that defined me and how I was sort of reshaping my life. But, you know, you've got like a couple of little like bullet points over here. Like, how many people are you out to? Everybody. Pretty much everybody knows. I don't care. I mean, probably the only person in my whole life that I have some sort of actual like connection to, as opposed to just being like, oh hey, there's a random stranger in the store or whatever, is my grandmother. I've never said anything to her, and I'm pretty sure my parents haven't either, because she definitely would have like disowned me if she knew. But I mean, she's like in her 70s, and I already don't really like her or spending time with her. Actually, maybe that would be a good way to have her never talk to me ever again. Just tell her that I like boys. I don't know. It just like I just never did. We kind of try and protect her. She's old and she's fragile. It was really tough on my mom. She like cried a lot, but she didn't disown me, so that was good. What about you?
So let me just pick it up in non-chronological order, because coming out to my mom was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. You already kind of know about it because I shared it on Twitter, but so the story is around the start of this year. I bought a bunch of wristbands that say Phizone, which is simply a YouTube channel that I'm pretty sure I owe my life to. And then it says lesbian your wrist, as in lesbian, a pun that took me a little longer than I care to admit to get.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but so after I bought it, I visited my parents, and I just decided to keep it as a conversation starter. And I didn't see my dad back then because he was because he's a truck driver, so he just simply didn't come for the weekend. But for my mom, it was certainly a conversation starter. The conversation starting with me saying I'm not gay, which is technically correct, the best kind of correct. And over the course of 3 or 4 days I was there, I was just slightly nudging her, trying to judge her feelings. And on the last day, 10 minutes before I had to leave, I just came out. And there was a lot of crying, but I think it was good crying. Because the only thing that I wanted to hear and the thing that she said is, I just want you to be happy.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's certainly better than it could have been.
Yeah, so outside of that, I'm still not out to my dad because I'm still scared of his reaction, even though I have 95% certainty that he'd be cool with it. I mean, he wouldn't be cool with it, but I'm still sure that I will, over time, it will just not be any deal to him. But I'm still scared of his initial reaction and how it could affect our relationship. But I'm pretty sure by the end of the year, I will have a progress report for you. And outside of that, my sister and brother, even though I haven't came out to them explicitly, they know that I went to Pride, and they know that I'm quite passionate about LGBT rights. So, oh, and I did, even though I didn't tell them I'm bi, I did say I'm not straight. So they probably thinking I'm gay, and I just haven't gotten around to correcting it. And outside of that, pretty much none of my family knows. My father's family, they may be kind of rednecky, but like good kind of rednecky. I'm like, this is sounding really awful.
Keep going.
Any negative reaction that they have towards queer people is simply out of ignorance, and I am sure that just learning more will make them supportive. Which is totally opposite of my mom's family, which, as I've already mentioned, are really religious, so they are quite versed in the topic, but their source of knowledge is the Catholic Church, which is less than ideal. So they will have to learn about it one day, and I'm pretty sure half of them will want nothing to do with me after that. But again, if they don't want to know me for who I am, then I don't want to deal with them either.
Yeah, I understand that.
I don't care about people because they're my family because I care about them. So just because we're related by blood and I deem them awful people for whatever reason, then there is nothing holding me back from just walking away. Which may sound harsh, but I think it's just healthy.
Right. I understand that. I'm the same way. It absolutely is. Absolutely is. Family is more than just blood relatives. Absolutely. That's a very postmodern way of thinking about things, which fits both our generation and resonates really well with me because, I mean, I totally agree with that. Most people the healthiest people that I meet do just like that. They define their family as the people that they surround themselves with, that they care about, not the people that, or not just the people that they're related to by blood. Or I guess it would be genes, but, you know.
Formal relationship, let's say, to count in adoption, in-laws, etc.
Right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Just because the court says somebody's your family doesn't mean you have to agree with it. So people from my university, because as I've already mentioned, I think last week, I didn't really understand I'm bi until the very end of my high school, so I couldn't just... By that time I didn't really meet people from my high school, so what was the point of telling them? And then at actual university, I wasn't telling anybody about it. It's just I was who I am, and you would have to be blind to not notice it. Just the way I express myself. The first person I came out to explicitly was a guy that I kind of had a crush on, and he was making some really stupid dick jokes. He said something like, when he's with me, he's starting to question his sexuality. And I just said I don't have to question my sexuality because I know I'm bi. And I thought it would be a good pickup line. But then he just responded with, "Oh no, I'm straight, so deal with it." Which was kinda weird, and don't really see each other anyway, because he dropped out of university for the, I think, 4th or 5th time. Quickly after that, there was one girl in my English classes. Just in preparation for oral exam, we just had to pick a random topic. One of the random topics was LGBT rights, and she said something really stupid like, "I'm straight, so why should I care?" And I went for a really, really long rant, which I guess you could say was me coming out to my entire English class. And after that, I took the policy that because it's not like hiding it, it's not something that comes up that often. And I think trying to tell everybody I meet that I'm queer is not something I want to do. And if the topic goes there, I find it appropriate, then sure, I come out. Especially if I think they react appropriately.
Fair enough. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I think so, even still today, I think sometimes I can be a little bit too forceful with it or like put it on too strong, but I just don't care anymore. So that's pretty much how I feel about it. I just don't care. I'll be me, and if you don't like it, that's okay. You don't have to like it. We just won't be friends.
And I've noticed that most people, the most prevalent reaction is just, "I don't really care." I guess it's fine. Somehow it shows that it's normal. It's not something of great importance. Which reminds me of, and I'll put it in the show notes, there's a great video on coming out by college humor, which sums up my reaction and expectations. I'm still wearing this wristband every day, and pretty much everybody notices it, and nobody asks a question. Which, again, I think is fine, because at least they're not being a dick about it. So fortunately I didn't have any bad coming out experiences. At worst, it's just people immediately thinking that I'm trying to hit on them, and feeling like they have to immediately establish themselves as not available. Their loss. Okay, so our quick idea, or my quick idea that Jared was really enthusiastic about, was friends. As in, not people we know. That will probably come up sometime soon. But the show Friends and the main cast. So my 6 people are Chandler, Phoebe, and Monica.
Yep, and my 3 of the 6 are Ross, Rachel, and Joey. Now I have to say, before we start, I actually don't like the show Friends, but I do like all of the characters on the show. I'm not a big fan of sitcoms, so I never really liked the show very much, but I did like the characters, and I'm familiar with them because my wife loves Friends. She's constantly playing it in the background. So I've seen every episode multiple times, despite the fact that I don't really like the show.
I'm not a huge fan of it either. I just have fond of memories of it because I've watched it with my sister multiple times. Because it is her favorite show. And because right now I'm living 200 kilometers away and we don't get to do that often.
Oh, you miss your sister. You have a heart of gold after all.
Yeah, a cold metal heart.
So, who goes first this week?
I'll start.
Okay, go for it.
Chandler, Phoebe and Monica. I think I would kill off Monica pretty much immediately. It's not that I dislike her, it's just I like the other two way more. And Monica has this, what's the right word, obsessive character, where everything has to be absolutely perfect. Which kinda reminds me of me arguing with my mom, because we both like stuff to be neat, but we have very different definitions of neat. Because for me, things are organized if I can access everything easily. For my mom, things are organized if you cannot find them at all. For me, if something is used often, then it should be out of arm's reach, and I don't care if it's inside, which in theory is my mother. Which is why I could not be with Monica. And then Chandler and Phoebe. I think I would have to marry Chandler. I think he's my favorite character of all the bunch. Even though I'm kinda scared of Phoebe. Don't stick your dick in crazy. But still, if it's between sticking it once and having her around for the rest of my life, I think I'll just have to risk it. Your pick?
Yeah, so let's see. From your list, I would have to go kill Monica, absolutely. She just always pissed... Like, I didn't dislike Monica, but God, she pissed me off in almost every episode. She's so annoying and so anal. And not in a good way, anal.
I was trying really hard not to say that.
I do like things to be pretty neat and tidy, but it's like, it's okay if something is out of its place, or it's okay if things are not perfect. Like, I am by far not a perfectionist. And that's pretty obvious to anybody who knows me, but she just rubs me the wrong way. Phoebe and Chandler. This one's tough. I kind of always had a little crush on Phoebe because she's very pretty and she's weird. And in some ways I like her weirdness, but in other ways it's like I couldn't stand some of the things that she says or does. And Chandler's kind of the same way. He's pretty weird and he goes through a couple of different phases in the show and how he behaves and the shenanigans he gets into.
I think both of them blur this line in between fun to be around and absolutely cannot stand them for extended period of time.
Yeah, but I think I just have to fuck Chandler because he married Monica. And if he wants to be around that all the time, I'm not sure that I want to be with him forever. And so then I'd have to marry Phoebe by default, which is fine. She would be fun. And then I would just like tell her something and then send her on like a little adventure and hide for the day while she was gone. Because she's pretty gullible.
Actually, have you watched I think it was a generic What Could Have Been episode. And there was Fat Monica. Do you know that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because actually I think I really liked Fat Monica because she had an entirely different personality. A one that I thought would be more suiting to her.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she was a lot more like fun and silly. And I could definitely be with someone who's a lot more fun and silly. Not Fat Monica is not fun and silly. I guess it would be Thin Monica. Thin Monica kind of sucks, and Fat Monica is fun.
Okay, I'll just add the note that we're talking about Thin Monica.
Okay. So my list I got Ross, Rachel, and Joey, and I like whenever you sent me the Skype message with this idea, I was like dibs on Ross, because I mean I absolutely have to marry Ross. I love Ross. Ross is very much like me, the really smart nerdy guy who all of the people in his life make fun of him for being smart and nerdy.
Oh.
And it's like I just want to give him a hug and be like, it's okay, buddy. It's okay. There are people out there who love you and want to and like this type of person. It is a little frustrating that he constantly is corrective. Like he loves to point out when people are wrong. But at the same time, I kind of do the same thing, so I totally get it. That's really my only problem with Ross. So yeah, absolutely marrying Ross. No questions there. Rachel, I think I'm gonna kill Rachel because she's so overrated. Like, why does Ross want to marry her? And that, like, what does he see in Rachel? I mean, she's not like a bad person or anything like that, but she is so not for him. And so many people have latched on to Rachel and like love her, like people who love Friends. And so I would just want to kill Rachel just to be like, haha, screw you guys, I killed Rachel. And then Joey, I mean, I was going back and forth between whether or not to kill him and Rachel. And I don't really like Joey very much. I don't like that he's just dumb. And I don't like people who are just dumb. And I don't find him super attractive. I mean, he's not ugly, but I'm not going like, yeah, look at that. Give me some. But he has a lot of sex, so he's probably pretty good at bed. So I'd totally fuck Joey. So yeah, that's my list.
Okay, so my pick... I have to start by saying I don't like Rachel nor Joey. I agree that Joey is the resident idiot. And I don't find it funny. I don't find it attractive. And Rachel, I may say she's a bad person. The way she treated Ross every time they were in a relationship. And the way she treated other people. Mainly because she was just a spoiled kid. I'm not a huge fan of Ross either, but of the three of them, he's definitely the one to stay. And I would have to agree to marry him. So we can fight over him if you want.
We could share him.
And then fuck Rachel or fuck Joey. I find Rachel more attractive just when she's not speaking. But I agree that Joey is probably really good in bed. I will have to go for experience over pretty face, so marry Ross, fuck Joey, kill Rachel.
Is this the first time we've ever agreed on a list?
Wait, this is... I thought you went the other way.
No, I said marry Ross, kill Rachel, fuck Joey.
Is this good or bad?
This list gets a star. Golden star. Ding! I suppose we'll have to see how common that is. I mean, we've done... this is the 4th episode, we skipped 1 week, so this is the 6th list we've done. Oh, I guess 7.
Because in the... Wait. Episode 0 we had 6 lists.
Oh, that's right, we did.
We went for a triple whammy then. So that would be the 12th list, and this is the first one we agree on, so... Right? But maybe as we spend more time together, we learn to share our worldview on people that are fuck-worthy.
Maybe so. I guess we'll have to see. Right now we've got less than a 10% agreement ratio. So yeah, we'll have to see. If it rises as we go on, then that means that we're like our cycles are syncing or something like that, right? That's how this works. You spend time together, you sync up.
Don't you need pheromones for that?
I have all the pheromones you need, big boy.
Can we just end the episode, please?
Okay. Too much?
Too much.
Okay. Yeah, we can move on. Which I guess moving on just takes us to the end, so. Alright. You can shoot us an email at straightpretzel@gmail.com or send a tweet to @straightpretzel. All of this plus more can be found at straightpretzel.wordpress.com.
Our intro music is Disco Medusae by Kevin MacLeod, provided free of charge on Creative Commons license. Find out more at incompetech.com. We are powered by Internet Archive free hosting. Remember, if your would go gay for list is longer than 5 people, you ain't straight, but you're in great company.
Stay fabulous.